Most relationship problems don't begin when things fall apart. They usually begin much earlier, in the moment when someone ignores a boundary. Have you ever had that moment while dating where something felt just a little off? Nothing dramatic, nothing obviously disrespectful, just a small moment where you quietly thought to yourself, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with this. Maybe the relationship started moving faster than you expected. Maybe someone pushed past a limit you hadn't clearly expressed yet. Or maybe they asked for something that didn't sit quite right with you. And suddenly, you're in that moment where you have to decide, do I say something? Or do I just let it slide? Those moments might seem small at the time, but they often determine the direction a relationship will take long before anyone realizes it. Most people assume boundary problems happen because someone doesn't know what they want. But that's rarely the real issue. The real challenge is that attraction changes the pressure in the moment. When you like someone, when the conversation flows easily, when you start imagining where things might go, it becomes much easier to ignore the small signals telling you to slow down. You don't want to create tension. You don't want to disappoint them. And you certainly don't want to risk losing something that seems so promising. So instead of staying anchored in what matters, many people begin adjusting to the pace, preferences, or expectations the other person is setting. And that's how relationships quietly drift in a direction no one intentionally chose. When most people think about boundaries, they think about control. They think boundaries are about telling someone what they can or can't do. But that's not really what boundaries are about. Boundaries are information. They reveal whether two people are building something that works for both of them. Because when someone respects a boundary, it tells you something. When someone ignores or resists that boundary, that tells you something too. Boundaries don't just protect what matters to you. They reveal whether the relationship has the potential to grow in a healthy direction. Over time, both through personal experiences and through years of working with midlife singles, I started noticing something important. Situations like this were rarely isolated. They were usually part of a larger pattern in how people approached dating and relationships. And the truth is, most people don't struggle because they don't care. They struggle because they don't see the pattern they're in. That realization eventually led me to what I call the smart dating framework, because healthy relationships rarely happen by accident. They tend to follow a process. Over time, I've come to see dating unfold in 4 stages: clarity, boundaries, patterns, intentional dating. Each stage builds on the one before it. Clarity is knowing what actually matters in your next relationship. Boundaries are how you protect what matters once you've defined it. Patterns are the relationship dynamics you begin to recognize, the ones you tend to repeat if you're not paying attention. And intentional dating is when you start making relationship decisions consciously, rather than simply letting momentum carry the relationship forward. When those 4 pieces are working together, people tend to make much healthier relationship choices. But when one or more of those stages is weak, relationships often start drifting before anyone realizes it. And boundaries are often the first place where that drift becomes visible. And this is where most people get stuck. Not because they don't want a better relationship, but because they're not completely clear on which part of the process is actually breaking down for them. Is it clarity? Is it boundaries? Is it patterns? Or is it how they're approaching dating as a whole? That's actually the reason I created a short quiz called What's Really Standing Between You and the Relationship You Deserve? Because once you can clearly see where things are breaking down, you can start making much better dating decisions moving forward. One of the most difficult truths about boundaries is that the cost rarely appears immediately. It usually shows up later. When small compromises slowly become bigger ones, when respect quietly shifts, when someone begins adjusting more and more of themselves just to keep the relationship moving forward. And by the time someone recognizes what's happening, they're often already emotionally invested, which makes it much harder to step back and ask the honest question: is this really the kind of relationship I want to build? The truth is, most relationship problems don't begin when things fall apart. They begin much earlier, in small moments that seem easy to dismiss. A relationship moving faster than you want, a request that doesn't sit right, a moment where you feel pressure to override your own clarity just to keep the connection going. And those moments matter, because boundaries do more than protect what matters to you. They reveal whether a relationship is being built on mutual respect or quiet compromise. Extraordinary relationships don't happen by accident. They take clarity, they take intention, and they take a willingness to protect what matters before the relationship gets complicated. If you're finding yourself in a situation like this and you're not quite sure where things are going wrong, I'd encourage you to take the quiz: what's really standing between you and the relationship you deserve? It'll help you quickly identify whether it's clarity, boundaries, patterns, or your overall approach to dating that's getting in your way. You'll find the link below in the description. And when you're ready to start making smarter dating decisions, I'm here to help.